Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So basically, before we begin, if you can please read the disclaimer. Understand everything shown in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and everything shown in this video is just my opinion. Please understand I'm not a financial advisor, so just pause and read the disclaimer once you're done and press play. So let's begin. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Sorry I haven't posted anything in the last few weeks. I haven't been well, and everybody at home caught COVID, and I had lost my voice. But anyway, I'm now back, and I hope everybody's had a good holiday period. And well, let's begin. So first of all, I'm looking at a Bitcoin chart, and previously I did predict sort of where price could potentially go down to, and what I was looking at originally was a potential for the price to first come up to this sort of zone, and this was my sort of liquidity area where I was expecting a nice push up to catch a bearish order block. Price did not do that, however continued to fall down. However, it has respected this channel itself, which has been playing out since December, and we can see price tapped the middle of that channel on that little push up, and we are now back down below on the lower part of that channel. So now, because of this, in the previous video where I made an estimated fib, which was based on the high of where the liquidity could potentially go up to, becomes invalidated. So we get rid of that. However, price did still manage to go down, and the only difference is we did not have that retest to the high side before taking another leg down. So what I plan on doing now is re-evaluating and checking everything, and it's important to always do that. And this is another reason why it's always important to have stop losses as well. However, I have been shorting the market quite a bit, and then I have shared my profit logs in the group in Discord. But anyway, moving on. So what we want to look at is where we could potentially go, and if our previous trend-based fibs are still correct. So looking at the previous fibs instead of this one, let's look at this. So this was based on the very low here, moving to the first new all-time high to the low, to predict where we could potentially have a potential top. And you can see there's a nice rejection over here, and currently what we can see, there's a little pattern as the price follows down this downward sloping descending channel. And what we can see, price has rejected the 618 area, or the 66 golden pocket between the 618 and 66. And from there, we've tested the 0.5 a few times, unable to break up, and we broke down, smashed through the 382 level, all the way down to the 236. We tested the 382 multiple times. We failed to break up, and currently we're coming back down. Now, we are below in that channel as well, so there is that potential for it to retest the 236 area. So the 236 area being the 43k level, and there is some liquidity there. And after that, I'm not just going to assume straight away, we're going to start potentially could break out and start pumping up again. It does require a lot of, volatility and a lot of money in terms of pushing the price up in terms of the buys. So that's the kind of a bigger picture I'm kind of looking at for the moment. And the other thing I also obviously will look at is the market structure. And at the end of the day, one of the important key lows that we don't want to lose is this low over here, the 40k level. If we do lose this low, the structure then effectively starts to become technically more bearish. So even though price comes down, if it tests this or breaks through this and creates a low, then effectively, we could start having that another push up, but the push up may not be as high as we think, and then price then falls back down again. So what I also want to now look at is what level we're on. And the other trend-based fib that we pulled over here, which was from the high to the low to the all-time high, currently also shows that this particular zone over here where price is holding, which is also near the 618 area and just between the 0.5, is a good area of support. Now if we lose this, where could we potentially go? And so I would be then looking at the secondary trend-based fib and then look at what is the best target for me locally. Now if we do go down, what I want to see is maybe price to potentially tap at least the 786 area, and if we do hold that, great. And then what I naturally would then want is a retest of the 618 before we come down. So let's have a look at that. Okay, which is this over here. So if we do see a sudden drop in price, I could see locally, this is the sort of level I'd expect for price to potentially retest, which would be again the lower part of that channel. And then if we were to potentially come up, I'd be looking at something along the lines of, maybe price comes down here, tests this 786 sort of area following this lower part of the channel, and then we may go sideways to try and test this golden pocket area. And then if we then potentially test this multiple times, how am I basing this off, or what am I basing this off? Well, if you look over here, multiple times we had these tests, and you can see from here, we tested the point 0133, we tested the 236, we tested each sort of level as we came down at the 0.5. So even previously the 382, what this level would have shown up on the previous bigger term time frame fib. And so based on that, I will feel potentially we could test this 618. But that is again just my own guess, and my guess which is based on looking at various sort of TAs. I'm not drawing any W patterns or anything, just in case. But that's what I feel locally we could do. And there will be people out there, I know, who's still bullish, which is, fine. I'm not trading it as a bear or a bull. I'm just trading it effectively each level that I see. And I personally think this level will be crucial. Now, if at this point we do not break above this point here and start to reverse up, and effectively what I want would be something along this lines where this would be the high, we have this being the low, and what we then want to do is potentially break up. And what we were in the ideal sort of scenario would be, you want to potentially break for higher up than the 618. Even if you do make this 618 here, it will not be very. It wouldn't be very good. Simply because you'll end up getting a lower high, and then you have that potential for a rejection down, which we don't want. So ideally what you want here, if we do break here, is to start to test the higher points, and that would be like a parabolic move. Do I think that's going to happen? Not yet. Possibly no. Again, it's just my opinion. And why do I think that? Well, we're at a point where, in order for us to push up to 69k levels, and we're currently at approximately 46k, will require a lot of people, a lot of interest in buying. And currently, I don't see that at the moment. I do see the market as, people being very fearful. So because of that, this is why this also area becomes very critical. So if we do bounce up, it won't be something that may go up straight like this. Then we can see potential each level test, and market may go sideways before we try to then break above this 618. And this is an estimated 618 fib level. This is if we get the bounce from there. And if we do not get the bounce from there as we expect, and if we then go back to the original, the trend-based fib from the previous all-time high to the low to the current all-time high, then what you're looking at is price could go lower. And typically, if you've seen my previous videos, if we do reject off this 786, so 618 level, then my natural targets, which many people won't like, will be going down further down to this 1.127 and dare I say 1618. And and I say that, dare I say 1618, because that's 10k, and I'm not predicting a bottom or anything as such, but I don't want to look that far. But you lose that, anything can happen. There is fear. I know a lot of people will say, oh, but institutions are buying, etc., etc. None of that matters. At the end of the day, you look at the chart and you see what the chart is doing. You trade it. You trade the level as it occurs. You use the data to potentially determine where it could go in your possibilities. Forget your emotion. As much as I may want this to go to 100k, 200k, none of that matters. If you're trading each level, you make money on each level. Yeah? Level rejects. Yeah? You have your stop loss there. Your idea reject invalidates. Move on to the next. And that's what we must do as a trader. So, that's how I look at it. If you're an investor, then you just accumulate. And you only cash out in the long run. So that's how you have to look at it. So currently, if this is the 1.127 level you do hit, guess what we also have here? We have nice bit of liquidity over here, so which kind of lines up. I'm not saying it's just going to go like that, but this is in the realms of possibilities. What I also want to look at is the Titan indicator. So we look at the Titan indicator, which is this one here, and we've got the VMA bands on it with the buys and the sells. And you can see, when we had this little push up for the buys, they don't last long. We brought down back in the sell area, right? Why? We look at the weekly now. Weekly is not too great, not doing too hot, right? What are we doing? We're in bearish territory. We've come down. We broke here, right? Broke down, sudden steepness, bang, currently below the zero level, and so there's a lot more sells. Now, if you look at the monthly, let me hide all the little drawings and the levels so you can, see it a little bit better. And then what you want to look at is go to the monthly. How does the monthly look? Scary. We broke down over here, around here, and then yes, we had a push up. It's fine. We're still going down. The next worry thing is if this monthly is a red, then potentially the sells will breach the buys, and that literally means we could potentially come down more. And based on that, does not look too healthy. So if I look at this on Bybit, if I need more data, let's look at, say, the BLX chart as it goes back a lot further. Now, looking on the BLX chart, what am I looking at on a monthly? You can see over here where, we were starting to break up. We were pretty bullish. We did break down a little bit over here, broke up, massively bullish, and we have stayed above it. On the BLX chart, we have potentially turned already, as you can see. Doesn't look too great, yeah? In this sort of case here, you can see we dumped here. You can see it was beautiful. Price pushed up from this sort of point over here and just carried on moving up until we started to reverse, and here was that big reverse. So, do I want it to reverse on a monthly? Well, I don't. But on the BLX chart, it shows that we have potentially. Keep in mind this is a month behind, so potentially it's not taking into account that current month. So it still has that potential next, to update back. But looking at it from long term, yeah, it could potentially come down a lot more than what most people realize. Um, so, but before I even think about anything like this, you want to trade it level to level, keep it as that, take the trades as such, and then see where everything goes. But currently, shorts have been doing relatively well. And locally, if I'm going to look at this as a smaller term time frame trade, potentially on the 4 hour, what do I want to do? I want to look at the potential range, and the range we currently got here is this area here. And what I would want to do is take this high potential, from up here to the low, to have a nice sort of range. If this isn't the right top based on whatever chart you're using, that would be the ideal low. Yeah, and we'll take that ideal high, pardon me, from that high to that low, and you've got a nice rejection on this 618 locally, and you can see we have a nice little range where price is ranging between above the lowest being around the 236 to the 618 level, so it's just below. So effectively, you could use that if you want to use this as a potential bottom area where you're going to measure. You could do again, and again you look at it as a range from the low to the 0.5. And I'm showing it like this not because this is the right way or the wrong way. Personally, I would have it like this, to look at that sort of range. Some people will do it to fit it. I would say that's not the right way to go. But you can see that any sort of rejection on the 618 tends to be pretty harsh, right? We tried very hard to break above here, bounced down, again tried big dump, right? We're currently under the 382 level, okay? Now, looking at this, and if I were to add, say, the particular channel that I was using before, in this case, what do I see? How would I use this? So if we were to break up, this again would be the higher of the channel. And if we don't, and the price was to come down, what am I looking at? So anytime after here, and if I am in a short, yeah, so effectively if price does fall, and if it does fall further down, I would be trailing my stops. And simple reason being is that at that sort of point, my target locally will be around here. And the way that I would target that, again, I would use a fib. And for this particular fib, we've got that range. And what we want to do, we want to look locally where it could go. And for this, I can use a trend-based fib. I can look at what the highs and the lows are. So this could be from this low to that high over here. Will give you the higher target first. And what do you see? We see price came down, went all the way up to the 786 level, tested down on the 382, bounced, rejected on the 618, and then moved down. So I update my fib level. Let's delete this. On the update, what do I have? I have this high to this low to that high. Okay, where are we currently? We can see locally we are sitting. We tested that 786 level just around there, and we're sitting above the 618. Potentially, where would I target this? As if I'm trading using these fib levels, my natural sort of targets are going to be the 1.127, the 1618, and that can be perfect, and that can, easily wick down to the lower part of the channel simply because we're there. That would be an ideal target. If price doesn't do that, what will it do? It will then go back still, if we push back up from here, to that original, that channel. The particular channel we're looking at is based on that sort of fib level here. So where we've been consolidating, moving sideways in this area. So it all comes down to how you're trading. Are you swing trading? Are you day trading? Are you intraday trading? Are you scalping? If I'm looking at from a scalping point of view, not really going to last that long, a scalp trade or anything that I miss show. So let's say if I go to the 30-minute chart, load this up big, how will I play this? It would be very simple. So in this sort of way, I'll just take the normal fib from the low to the high, where we've got a rejection at currently, just near the 382 level. Where would I expect price to go locally? this sort of, if I was to scalp, again, I would target this area. What do I have? What's so good about this area? You've got the golden pocket, number one. You've got an area of liquidity over here. Okay, that's a good target. We could potentially go even higher, to around here. But I would target this. And as a scalper, what would that mean? If I'd long this to this particular point, that's a nice 1.62% move. That is more than enough for me, right? So it comes down to how I use it. The rules that I use on a smaller time frame are literally the same for the higher time frame. And it's just based on that. If I look back, if I want to, learn or backtest, how do I backtest? Very easy. I look at the impulses. I look at the high to the low. Where do I see a potential target? As you can see, price came down. If I took a long, it almost reached the 618, right? That's why it's a good target. And that's another reason why, you could have potential targets of taking profits. You could take profits at the 0.5. Put your stop at the 382. Price does come down, you get stopped out in profit. What happens again? Price retests. So we can then look at, okay, that's the high. Where does price come down to? Take this low to the high. Again, if I short it from here, I could target easily to that 618. Price test at 886 and bounces. Where do I target that? Why am I showing this? I'm showing this as a quick learning exercise. It's not complicated to trade. The complication is the psychology. The complication is the risk. And the complication is managing that risk. Yes, you can say, I'm looking at it in hindsight. And it shows this, it does this. But the thing is, what is my rule? My simple rule was literally, for example, in this example was, take the long on the 2362. Yeah? Take profit on the 618. I don't care about all of this. Why? Because if I'm scalping, I want to be in, I want to be out, take my profits, move on to the next. I can't cry about this week. Why can't I cry about it? Because I got my money. Yeah? The next trade, what is it? So that low to that high in this instance, what do? Look at the very low, in this case, this. The very high here. If I took a short from around here, great. If I don't catch it, and I can see price is potentially going to go maybe down more, then what do? If I was going to be in a short anyway, and I took profits there, great. The thing, this all comes down to how you trade. And again, yes, it fell more, but who cares? I made my money. What is this? So if I took a short from this 236 to the 618 sort of golden pocket, roughly 0.8%. Doesn't seem like a lot. But if you're scalping and you're using some kind of leverage, good risk management, etc., it's good money. Yeah? So it's not about, I caught this only, I could have caught all of that. Yeah? If you're scalping, you want to become profitable, you need consistency. Before you can start targeting the full range, yeah, we want to become consistent, right? So what would I look at in this case if I wanted to target this? So I could look at the higher time frame. That's one of the things I'd be looking at. The other thing I'll be looking at is what? So if I look at this and say have the expansion, look what happens. Price comes down, breaks through, tests the 144 or even 1.127, retest the 0.1, taps all the way back down to the 0.2 level, and now we retest this again. Again, I would start looking at that as I get better and better. Yeah, all comes down to you in your trading. So whether it's you're trading on the short term time frame, long term time frame, you need to have your risk management sorted. So looking at it long term, I'm still expecting potentially for a move down. Ideally, around this level would be great. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but this is probabilities, right? So, and if it doesn't happen, what am I looking at? As I've mentioned, we can bounce back up and retest this 618. Here, we could go sideways, test up this 618, break above, break outside of the channel. Entirely possible, yeah? And this is why I'm not taking a massive short or a massive long or anything. Trade each level. Anyway, that's enough from me from today for BTC. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, share. Please support the channel. Discord is open. Use the link, join it, and ask me any questions. Drop any comments or feedback. Happy to hear from you. And yeah, and if you are going to trade and if you are going to use leverage, use the Bybit link that I've shared, the affiliate link. It helps the channel out, no cost to you. And then obviously, if you do trade with it, whether you trade spot or leverage, it helps out the channel with affiliate payment. Not going to lie, very transparent. So anyway, thanks again, and please pause the video for the disclaimer. Do read it and understand everything I've shown. Not financial advice, just my opinion. Take care and see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.